4:15 a.m. on a humid Friday in June, a 20-year-old student named Lauren Spierer walked out of a luxury apartment complex and into the darkness. She had no shoes, she had no phone, and she had no wallet. She was stumbling, intoxicated, and completely defenseless. But here's the problem that has kept the FBI awake for over a decade. Lauren didn't vanish from a lonely highway. She didn't disappear in a forest. She vanished in one of the most densely populated, highly surveilled square miles in the American Midwest. Between point A, where she was last seen by her so-called friends, and point B, her apartment, there is a distance of less than 5 minutes. Physics tells us that matter cannot simply evaporate. A body cannot turn into air. But on June 3, 2011, that is exactly what happened. There is no footage of her leaving the block. There is no DNA evidence of a struggle. There isn't a single shred of physical proof that she ever left that street corner. But this isn't just a story about a missing girl. It is a story about the 3 men who watched her walk away and then refused to help find her. It is a story about a code of silence that money and lawyers bought before the sun even came up. You are about to see the timeline the police don't want to admit is broken, because in this case, the silence isn't empty, it's deafening. If you asked anyone on the Indiana University campus to describe Lauren Spierer, the first thing they would mention is her energy. The second thing would be her size. Standing at just 4'11" and weighing barely 95 pounds, Lauren was tiny. Her friends affectionately called her small, but what she lacked in stature, she made up for in sheer magnetic force. She was a textile merchandising major, ambitious, stylish, and deeply connected to her Jewish community back in Scarsdale, New York. She wasn't an outsider. She was the girl who organized the parties, the one who pulled people together. She had just finished her sophomore year. The summer of 2011 was supposed to be her victory lap before the hard work of junior year began. She stayed in Bloomington for the summer classes, sure, but mostly she stayed for the social scene. She stayed to be young. But there is a danger in being that small and that fearless. We often talk about missing women as vulnerable in retrospect, but with Lauren, the vulnerability wasn't just social, it was biological. She was walking around with a secret that most of the people partying with her that night didn't fully understand. Lauren suffered from a rare and serious heart condition known as long QT syndrome. To put it simply, the electrical system in her heart took longer than normal to recharge between beats. For most people, a sudden adrenaline rush or a night of heavy drinking results in a hangover. For Lauren, it could result in a seizure, or cardiac arrest, or sudden death. She required daily medication to keep her heart rhythm stable. But on the night of June 2nd, the toxicology of her body became a deadly equation. We know that night involved alcohol. We know it likely involved other substances. When you mix a depressant like alcohol with a heart condition like long QT, you are essentially dismantling the body's safety rails. This condition is crucial. It is the hinge upon which this entire mystery swings. Did she meet a predator in the dark, or did the party simply go too far? If Lauren Spierer collapsed in an apartment full of panicked college students holding illegal drugs, would they call 911? Or would they try to save themselves? That medical fragility turned her into a ticking bomb. But on that Thursday night, Lauren wasn't thinking about her heart. She was thinking about her relationship. She had been dating Jesse Wolfe for years. They met back home in New York. It was a relationship friends described as intense. High highs, low lows. The kind of college romance that consumes your entire orbit. Jesse and Lauren lived in the same building, Smallwood Plaza, but on different floors. On the night she disappeared, they didn't go out together. Jesse stayed in. He said he was going to sleep. Lauren wanted to go out. This separation is the first domino. If Jesse goes with her, she probably comes home. but he stays behind, and Lauren walks out the door with a friend named David Ron, leaving her safety net behind. To understand why a 4'11" girl would feel comfortable walking into the night, you have to understand the IU bubble. Bloomington is an oasis. It's a wealthy, Big Ten college town surrounded by rural Indiana. Students here feel invincible. It's a campus mentality, where the streets feel like hallways between dorm rooms. You don't expect predators here. You expect your friends. But this specific weekend was different. It was the Indy 500 weekend. The town wasn't just students. It was flooded with tourists, race fans, and outsiders. The bubble had been popped. Lauren left her apartment at roughly 12:30 a.m. She had her ID, she had her keycard. She did not know that she had exactly 4 hours left to live. The night began innocently enough. Lauren was in high spirits. At 12:30 a.m., Lauren left her apartment with a friend named David Ron. They went to a friend's place for pre-game drinks. Witnesses say she was happy. She was drinking wine. She was texting Jesse. Whatever darkness was waiting for her, it hadn't arrived yet. At 1:46 a.m., Lauren and Rossman enter Kilroy's sports bar. This is the epicenter of Bloomington nightlife. It's loud, it's crowded. The floor is covered in sand, a gimmick of the bar. And this is where the timeline begins to fracture. Inside the bar, Lauren meets up with a new acquaintance, Corey Rossman. Rossman was a fellow student living just down the street. At some point in the next 30 minutes, Lauren makes a decision that will cripple the investigation for the next decade. She takes off her shoes because the sand feels good, and she sets down her cell phone. When she leaves the bar, she leaves them both. At 2:27 a.m., Lauren and Rossman leave the bar. She is barefoot. She is heavily intoxicated. They walk back to her apartment building, Smallwood Plaza. This is the most frustrating moment of the entire case. She is in her building. She is an elevator ride away from her bed, her boyfriend, and safety. They reach the 5th floor, but they don't go to Lauren's room. Instead, they run into a neighbor, Zach Oakes. Zach notices Lauren's state. He asks her, "Are you okay?" According to witnesses, Rossman tells him to back off. Tensions flare, and then a punch is thrown. Rossman gets knocked down, but instead of this ending the night, it prolongs it. Zach Oakes tries to help Lauren, but she is confused. She stays with Rossman. And here is the tragedy. Because of the fight, they don't stay in the building. At 2:48 a.m., they exit Smallwood Plaza. Lauren walks out of safety and back into the night. She will never enter her home again. 3 minutes later, they arrive at Rossman's apartment complex, the Up North townhomes. This is where the cast of characters expands. They meet Jay Rosenbaum and Mike Beth. Corey Rossman claims that the punch at Smallwood Plaza caused amnesia. He says that from the moment he hit the floor, his memory is blank. He claims he went upstairs to his bed and passed out. This removes him from the narrative. This leaves Lauren alone with Jay Rosenbaum. For the next hour and a half, Lauren is inside Rosenbaum's apartment. According to Rosenbaum, she is trying to make phone calls. She borrows his phone. She calls her boyfriend, no answer. She calls another friend, no answer. She is desperate to find her lost cell phone. She is spiraling. And finally, we reach the end of the line. Jay Rosenbaum tells police that at 4:15 a.m., Lauren insisted on leaving. He says he watched her walk out the front door. He says he watched her barefoot silhouette walk to the corner of 11th and College. He says he watched her round the corner, and that was it. The timeline ends here. But as we are about to see, the evidence suggests that this story is a lie.